If you're a real estate photographer, you may be asking, what features should I look for in considering, when I'm using a real estate photography editing program? And luckily, in about, mid 2026 onwards, as of recording May 2026, there are a lot of great options. But we're going to look at one in particular, and that is auto HDR. So let's dive in. So I think the three biggest things that you need to answer when you're qualifying to try and find a real estate editing program for photography are: one, is it going to save me money, and is it worth it? Is it valued price-wise at a good price? Two, what's the quality like, and does that reflect the price very well? And what's the relationship between those? And then three, if something goes wrong, how much support is there, and are there humans to save the day? Yes. So to answer the first one, pricing, let's take a quick look here, right? So you can actually try this for free for 10 photos a month, and it costs nothing. And the 10 photos are actually 3 brackets per photo. So you can actually test it out and see if it's something that you want, right? And then it scales from there. So we have the standard package that we pay monthly for $265 a month. One question you have to consider, though, is at approximately 50 cents per photo, is this better than hiring and outsourcing real estate editing photographers overseas typically? Most people in North America hire outsource editors in either Vietnam or India, and the talent is absolutely phenomenal. That being said, it can be very expensive. It could be, I remember spending $4,000, $6,000 a month on just photo editing, and especially in those high volume months such as May until August. Yeah, like if we're doing 50 listings a week, definitely it's going to be a lot. So if that's, for instance, let's say, we take approximately between 50 and 75 photos, let's take a look. Let's do a quick calculation right there, okay? So if it's, let's say 50 cents, okay, and we're taking, let's say modest, let's just say 50 photos, okay? So that's $25 per listing, whether you charge $150, $250 or more just for photos, not for videography as well. So if your photo only package is, say, $250, which is what we have, that's 10% of our and then there's gas and there's travel and there's time, and so there's a lot associated in there too, of course, right? Keep in mind. Now, if that's $25 per listing, and we do 50 listings a week, that's $1,250, and that is then ballooning to $5,000. So there you go. There's proof in the pudding that if you're doing approximately 30 to 50 listings a week, you could be spending $3,000 to $5,000, and that's Canadian. So it could be even more in American. So if the price is the same, is it better to just stay with your human editors or to use something like this? And I think the answer is absolutely auto HDR, because even at 50 cents per photo for outsourcing on an editing team, usually that's not as low as that. It could be between, most rates I see about 60 cents a photo, or 70, or even 80, or even $1 per photo. And that's literally doubling. It's going to be $10,000 then per month, which is just, in my opinion, unsustainable. Then you need to lower the amount of photos that you take. And that's not always good, because that could hurt your business, in my opinion. So if you're doing, approximately 50 cents per photo, I think the real test then becomes, is it worth it versus a human editor? So why don't we take a look at some listings, and you guys can be the judge of that, okay? So let's start with some drone photos, which look just phenomenal. They look great, amazing, love it. And even some of these photos, they looked so dreary and gloomy before, and those look awesome, really, really good. Let's look at some other exteriors. All of the photos, the sky has been replaced, which is awesome. That's a pretty big deal. Most people, a lot of sellers, when I go to their home and they're still there getting it ready, one of the biggest things that they are worried about is, it's not a beautiful blue sky. That's like every single time. It's like if it's a gloomy day, overcast, oh, too bad it's not blue sky. So I always reassure them, not to worry. We always replace the sky with a beautiful blue sky. And you can see in this case, this is absolutely the sky was replaced. And yes, there's some shadow, and I'll tell you right now though that this was definitely replaced sky, and you can tell just from it too, because sometimes it could be overblown. But when a photo is overblown, they can be salvaged and fixed as well too, right? So that you can have that sky replacement. And one of the cool things too is you can actually replace the sky with interior photos too, such as there. Right here, you can actually, instead of it being blown out, overcast, it's going to be a blue sky as well. So from price, right, let's say 50 cents a photo versus the quality, right? So those are 2 of 3 questions that need to be answered. And you're the best person that needs to be, thinking about these things. How much are you currently paying versus how much you could be paying? And then is the quality the same and or better? Because the reality is with an editing team, usually if you send them an email in the morning and you forget or something went wrong with your upload, you're not getting those photos back for at least a few hours. There's been so many times, we've probably tried over a dozen different editing teams, and honestly, it's a really great saving grace to have the ability to just upload our raw photos and we get them back within 30 minutes. Sometimes quicker, sometimes later. It depends on how many photos and a few other factors too. But, if you prefer your human editors, power to you. Having this as a backup, I highly recommend it. Like you should have a backup just in case, because the last thing you want to be able to say to your client is, sorry, you're going to get them tomorrow, when you promised them that you would get them the following day. So that's how you lose business. And having something like this, I think, is the right way to go. Another thing about quality is, so I think we've done with price. And if you are a really high performer in the real estate media too, you can reach out to AutoHDR and become an affiliate and even get as much as 50% off. So there's a little nugget for you. And then so it can go down to as much as 25 cents per photo. So you do the math with pricing of the 3 things: pricing, quality, and human support. So now let's take a look at a little bit more of quality. So let's say, for instance, let's take a look at, actually, this was a really good one I did earlier today. Okay. So I thought, what a great photo. Okay. This is from their new version 4. This is a really tricky listing too. I put it through its paces. I compared their Lisa model, which is their model they've had for the better part of a year, and then they just premiered this version 4 beta to high quality and high volume editors and photographers like us. So right from the get-go, version 4 is super awesome. One minor complaint, and maybe it's because it's a house with lots of wood. There's a lot of things that can be fixed though. So for instance, you can actually go into basic adjustments, and if for whatever reason you think that there's too much saturation on the wood here, well, that's fine. You can go right into it and reduce saturation. Let's say maybe about 10 points of saturation. Okay, and then you can also reduce the reds quite a bit too. So we're not going to change the hue, but we will change the saturation again, right? So if we think it's just a little bit too saturated, so let's see here. So those are all the brackets too. So you can actually, it's not just a drag and drop and, what you get is what you get. You can actually really go into it. You can even add lot lines for drone. You can do so much. You can save profiles and load them if you have specific ways that you really like photos to look. So the ability to not only just get back something really great that looks amazing, but you can go and dive into it a lot more and actually fine tune it even further. So in my books, that's amazing, because that'll satisfy a lot of different people that may have they might like things a little bit differently, and that's great, because if they have a certain style that their clients are expecting of them, more sepia tones or something, or maybe whatever the case may be, you absolutely can just accomplish that then and load your profile that you can build right into here. Another thing that's really cool is you can do a lot of things with this, with staging, decluttering. You can add grass, you can remove things, you can do so much, right? So I think that between what your price is, what's your price target, you have to be realistic as well too. Not everything that's worthwhile is free, unless you do it yourself, right? Unfortunately. So being able to upload as many as a dozen listings in a day and have them all back within an hour is mind-blowingly high value for us, especially. So that way our clients get things much quicker. And then second, the quality that comes back is another winning thing as well too. And then, but lastly, the third thing that I said was, is there an ability, like what's the support like? So human edit, boom, I just clicked human edit, request a human edit, and I can explain what might be wrong, and then they'll actually dive in and fix it. And usually it comes back really quick as well too. So, there's my 3 big points and that you should be looking at when you're considering a real estate photography program for editing. And Auto HDR is by far my top pick for all those 3 reasons. Great price, just convenient as well too. Many times it's very annoying, unfortunately, working with humans in general. I think, automated programs like this are really helping us being able to do more, right? Like I don't want to be able to count how many photos I'm taking in a home. I just want to be creative and capture as many photos as are necessary. I don't like it when clients say, did you get this angle? Did you get that? Or, mistakenly missing things. It's not good for business and it's not good for your bottom line. So this way, there's programs like this where you can go and just be creative and get as much as you want, as much as you need, right? And focus less on the financing part of it if you know that you're getting a great price, a great product, great quality, and you can even click and get help from a human editor. Worst case scenario, if something needs to be fixed by a human, there's that as well too. So there's your 3 things: price, quality, what's the support like, okay? If you guys like that video, please like, subscribe, and there's a lot more to come too, okay? So I hope you liked it. Take care.